Today I decided to tell you which killers you should buy first if you're looking only for the strongest perks that you could get in DBD early on. So I'm not counting their gameplay difficulty whatsoever. Most of them you will be able to buy with iridescent shards, so for free, but for some, like the one that we will talk about just in a second, you would have to buy the DLC or in-game currency to get them unlocked. So let's get started. The first killer that you should get will allow you to find everyone each time they will enter your terror radius, and it's currently the best perk in a game by far. That belongs to Xenomorph and it's called Ultimate Weapon, and the way it works is quite simple. Since when you open any locker on a map, the perk will activate for 30 seconds, in which you will be able to see in the bottom right. And whenever one or more survivors will enter your terror radius by any means, they will scream and reveal their location to you, as well as cause them to suffer from blindness status effect for 30 seconds as well, which means that the aura reading perks simply will not work. A good example of this would be Windows of Opportunity that shows survivors aura of pallets and windows nearby. But as soon as they get hit with Ultimate Weapon, the Windows of Opportunity will not work for the next 30 seconds, which overall will make your chases a bit easier if the player isn't also familiar with the map that you're on. Just one thing to keep in mind, that Ultimate Weapon has a cooldown of 30 seconds after a successful activation. So if you're struggling to find any survivors, this perk can be played literally on any killer you like, since it's the best information perk in the whole game at this moment. Alright, next killer has a perk that will allow you to slow down these gen rushers and genuinely the whole game. And it's called Pain Residence, that belongs to the artist. Pain Res is used almost by everyone just because of how good it is. And when you take it, you will be given 4 tokens right at the start of the game. And a single token will be consumed when you will hook any survivor for their first time on a white aura hook, which is also called Scourge Hook. Then the generator with the most progress on the map will explode and lose 25% of its maximum possible progression. Just know that not all of the hooks will become Scourge Hooks, because that would be just simply too easy, and only some of them will randomly become Scourge Hooks. The only problem with this can be that the RNG sometimes will not be on your side, because you will have some games where all of your Scourge Hooks that you're looking for are just on the other side of the map, or just simply too far away at times. It's rare to have this kind of a problem, but it is possible, and definitely not fun when it happens. But don't be discouraged, since you should take this perk whenever you can. Let's not forget about her second perk that was recently buffed, and it's quite common to even face against right now, called Grim Embrace. It kind of works in a similar way that Pain Residence does in terms of hooking survivors for their first time, but this time you can hook them on any hook you like. And when you do that, then you will receive a token, and from 1 to 3 tokens you will block all generators each time for 12 seconds. However, when you hook the 4th survivor and you will receive your 4th token, all the generators will be blocked for the whole 40 seconds. And on top of all of that, you will see the aura of your obsession for 6 seconds, so you can utilize this time well to actually hunt someone down. If you add up the whole duration of the generators being blocked, it will sum up to 76 seconds of blocked generators for the whole game. That's honestly so much value for buying just a single killer, and she probably should be first. But now it's time for Nemesis with actually 2 extremely useful perks as well. So let's talk about Lethal Pursuer, that allows you to see survivors' aura at the start of the game for 9 seconds, which we can use to get an idea of which generators the survivors are going for first. Or you can be a big brain gamer and just pay a little bit more attention in terms of survivors' movement. And if they are walking rather than sprinting right at the start of the game, I can bet you that 9 out of 10 times that means that they have sprint bursts that they just don't want to activate right away, which can be useful to know which player you should go after as well. And not only that, but if you got another perk that allows you to read survivors' aura, Lethal Pursuer will actually give you additional 2 seconds of aura reading, which is just a quite nice overall touch for the perk, so it's not going to be completely useless after a few seconds at the start. Second perk is Eruption, that can slow down the whole game significantly by you just kicking the generators that you want to lose progress. Simple enough, right? But how does it really work? Well, after you kick any gen, it will highlight in yellow, and whenever you will down a survivor, all of the marked yellow generators will explode and lose 10% of its maximum possible progression. They will also start to instantly regress, and on top all of that, if anyone was actually working on any of your marked generators that exploded at that time, they will scream and also reveal their aura to you for 12 seconds. And if you run Lethal Pursuer as well, then you will see their aura for 14 seconds, which is more than enough to actually catch someone quite easily. And also let's not forget that Eruption has a cooldown of 30 seconds, which is absolutely bonkers if you can manage to utilize it well. But do you know which killer has a perk that allows you specifically to regress progress a generator by 30% of its current progress with just a single kick. Some of you might already know who I'm talking about, because of course there's no one else with this kind of a perk than the clown. And also, according to this post by the developers that measured most commonly used perk by killers from 25th of August to the September 25th, 2023, we can see our perk that I'm talking about, which is Pop the Weasel, that ended up in a second place, and it's not by a mistake. Because it's just a great perk, since whenever you will hook any survivor on any hook this time, the perk will activate for 45 seconds. And in this time window, you're given the freedom of kicking any generator you like. And when you will find the one, when you kick it, it will instantly lose 30% of its current progress. Which sounds pretty strong, I'm not gonna lie, if you know which generator has the most progress, and let's be honest, most of the time you probably don't. That's why another perk comes into play called Tinker, which you can get from Hillbilly if you can just manage to get him up to prestige level. But the way it works is when any generator on the map will reach 70% of its current progress, you will get this notification. As well as gain undetectable status effect for 16 seconds, which means that survivors won't be able to see your red stain and hear your terror radius, which will make your life a lot easier to get someone down and to utilize your Pop the Weasel to the best of its ability. Next is Plague with Corrupt Intervention, which is definitely something that you need even if you're not going for a full generator defense build, because it blocks 3 furthest generators located from you right at the start of the game for 120 seconds, which is a long ass time for these survivors, so what more would you like? Other than that, just know that Corrupt will deactivate once the first survivor is down, which kind of balances the perk in some kind of a way, I guess. Now let's talk about the Cannibal and his barbecue and chili that allows you to see every single survivor if they are at least 40 meters away from the player that you just got a hook on, which gives a ton of information just from that, since if you're not seeing everyone after it activates, it means that some of the survivors are within the 40 meters range. So you could search the area around, since they're probably going for a save, or just go straight to someone that you have seen on a gen that you saw previously with our great perk. Next spot will take no one other than Depthslinger and his 2 perks, which one of them is Deadman Switch, that activates whenever you hook someone. And in this time, when any of the survivors are on gens and they will decide to let it go even for a split second while repairing, the generator then will get blocked by the entity until Deadman Switch activation ends. But he also has a second perk that is superly underrated in my opinion, which is Gearhead. That is absolutely ridiculous, and it should get used a lot more often, since survivors will encounter skill checks when they are repping the generators regardless. That's the only one thing that they cannot avoid. That's why Gearhead is perfect in any game, since whenever any survivor loses a health state, so for example you get a hit on someone, then the perk will activate for 30 seconds. And in this time window, if any of the survivors will counter a skill check and they did get a good skill check while repairing, which is just a normal skill check overall in this zone here, the aura will be revealed to you for 8 seconds. That's awesome, right? I just don't know why people don't use it, frankly. However, there's one flaw, since if someone will hit a great skill check, Gearhead will not reveal the aura of that survivor. But let's be real, when was the last time that you managed to only get great skill checks? The chances are very slim and probably close to 0. That's why I like this perk so much. But the thing is, everything I just told you is completely useless. None of these perks can help you because there's still 15 things that if you don't fix in your gameplay as a killer right now, you won't be winning as many games that you could have. So watch this video next to fix these huge mistakes to be ahead of survivors each time. And also, if you think that your killer didn't make into the list, and it should, or if you think that I'm wrong anywhere, then please correct me in the comments below.